What's up, Buckeye Nation? Shane Larson here, the Game Time Guru here on the Scarlet and Great Empire. I wanted to jump on here, do a post-game chat today. So if you're on here, jump on. Let's leave some comments here in the comments section. Jump on with me. Let's chat about the Buckeyes game. Corey and Johnny are both on the road right now. Corey's finishing up work this wonderful Saturday afternoon, and Johnny is out and about with his family today after he enjoyed the game. But I'd love to get you guys on here as we recap today's 45-12 victory. So let us know what's up. I got Ed on here not liking it so much. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say. There's a couple things I want to break down. This is kind of our sounding board. So again, I'm Shane Larson, the Game Time Guru. You can follow me on Twitter at Game Time Guru. This is Ohio State football with Scarlet and Great here on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're a Buckeye nut, follow us. Let us hear you. We're going to be bringing you guys more content throughout the season. But 45-12 final score today. And we've got some mixed emotions on some stuff. You know, Corey and I chatted about it this week on the show, talking about what we were expecting. One of the topics we chatted about was, you know, what were we going to see out of the Buckeyes? Was it going to be one of those where we're in the first half thinking, why aren't we blowing these guys out? Were the players going to come prepared? Were the coaches going to come prepared? What was going to happen? So, you know, it was one of those situations. I'm curious to see what you guys thought, but I'm going to give you guys about a minute or two to see if we can get anybody else on here, and we'll see if we can get a discussion flowing. So, man, a lot of things to talk about today. Give you guys a minute to jump on. Again, for those popping on, leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of the game. We're going to be talking about it real quick here for the next 15 or so minutes, chatting about this. And I'd encourage all you guys hit the subscribe button and share this with your friends and family. If you're a Buckeye nut, we want to get you on here. This is the Scarlet and Great Empire. Again, I'm Shane Larson, the Game Time Guru. Corey and Johnny are my business partners, but they're both doing different things right now. Corey's working, getting home from work this afternoon, and Johnny's with his family. And I know, man, we're still better than Bama. I don't disagree with you there if you guys caught that. Absolutely atrocious calls. I know we were all watching the Buckeyes game, but if you're flipping back channels or if you were at the game and you didn't have a chance to see that, some terrible calls on the Bama game, by the way. That safety should have counted even after they reversed the call. Should have definitely been an intentional grounding in the end zone. They missed that one. That's 2 points. They missed a face mask on the last the next last Texas drive, and a couple other things. Bama has some gaping holes. So we'll talk about a few things. First thing I want to talk about, we got some people on here. If you're on here, don't feel shy. Jump in, let us know. But I'm going to talk about obvious stuff right here. Stroud looked pretty good to me today. You know, his stat line, he finished 16 of 24, so 8 incompletions. A couple of those, I thought he forced some throws, but I thought he had a pretty efficient game. 16 completions for 351 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Okay, guys, what else can we ask for? Let's not get too petty and too deep into the hate on Stroud. I thought that he did pretty well. I thought the play calling opened it up for him. I thought he was hitting his receivers. He had an absolute dime. How about that dime to Marvin Harrison Jr. in the end zone? I mean, what a catch as well. But, I mean, it was double coverage, cloud coverage over the top. He had to float it in over, under the safety and over the corner, and he got it. Harrison made a play. Harrison had himself a day as well, guys, as you guys saw that. Corey, Johnny was wrong on everything. We need a third receiver, too. Here's the thing, Ed. I mean, that's why I'm a little hesitant to jump too much down their throats right now, because you've got your 2 top receivers, preseason expected top receivers out, and you've got Egbuka, who came through last week for us, did pretty well. We have Harrison Jr. coming through for us this week, doing awesome. I mean, when JSN comes back and Fleming's back, I mean, you never know what you're going to get with everything when they're coming off injuries, but I feel like we do have a third receiver when we have a full core. And I think Stover, I mean, let me know what you think about Stover. I think getting him incorporated into the game is going to be huge for us moving forward. I really do. I think letting the tight end get in there, he's a dog. Stover's an awesome weapon out there. He's huge too. So I would just love to see Stover get more incorporated into the pass game. I mean, 2 catches for 40 yards today. One was a 35-yarder, but I do think we have the receivers. We have the depth there. I mean, we've got the guys out there. It's just that we're not healthy right now, which is fine. It's not about who's playing well right now anyway. I mean, we can say Bama sucks right now, but we all know that as Buckeyes fans. There's been plenty of years where we didn't hit our stride till the Big Ten championship game. That's just kind of the way it works. You can't play a great game every single game. You know what I mean? So hopefully we'll get it. But I mean, I see what you're saying. We need some more options. But I'm curious what you guys think about the run game, how we did with the power backs. We had Henderson with 10 carries, 87 yards, 2 TDs. Mayan did his thing, 8 carries, 46 yards, 25 was his longest. It was awesome. It's cool to see the duo. Usually I'm not like a big proponent of having these backs get an equal amount of carries because you can never really get into a flow, but it seems that it's working for Ohio State and it's keeping guys healthy. That's one of the things I'm excited about for Buckeye football moving forward is that, one guy's not getting the blunt end of the carries. You're keeping guys healthy, moving towards the season, less hits and so forth. You're not as banged up, and it's working. It's not like it's not working. I feel like, obviously the opponent today, subpar compared to like that of Notre Dame, but what can you ask? We just have to we just have to execute. That's what I'm looking for in games like this against Arkansas State. Did we execute? Did we not execute? Obviously, there are some slip-ups. We can't play a perfect game. Nobody does. These are college students, have you? But I thought there was some improvement from last week. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to put this up here as a question. Did we show improvement from Notre Dame? Let me know if you thought. Did we show improvement from Notre Dame? Because what I saw offensively, I thought we were flowing pretty well. I was excited to see that. We got more into a flow, which I expected as the season goes on. You get into a better rhythm offensively. That's usually what happens. Like offense, it's all about timing. It's about rhythm. It's about all those things. But defensively, I'm pretty confident in our front seven. But we've got some problems on the back end, I feel. Tyler, biggest problem is the penalties. No doubt. So Tyler says, I think our biggest problem is the penalties. I mean, that's another thing. That's mental right there. That's a mental side of the game. And that's what worries me about top-notch football, right? If we're trying to compete with the dogs like Georgia and Alabama moving forward, we have got to get our mental game on point. Now, that's not always going to happen right at the beginning of the season. If you look at Alabama, I mean, they were atrocious today with the penalties. And obviously we know what the media thinks about Alabama as far as a top contender in college football, right? But we have got to figure this out because these are at home, right? Like this is penalties at home. Ohio State can't be doing this at home when they have, all the advantages there. You know what I mean? We can't be doing that at home. And especially against Arkansas State. So let me know, guys, did we improve from last week? What did we think about the secondary? I know we gave a little bit of grace last week to Burke and the rest of the guys. There was a couple blown coverages last week against Notre Dame, throwing it over the top where they simply just missed the receiver or they made a miraculous catch. This week, that wasn't the case. So there was a couple blown coverages, and I think number 5 was having probably one of the worst games of his career. Not a good Saturday for him. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on him as well. Let me know. Do we got to get rid of Burke? Do we got to make a change? Is it too early in the season? What do you guys think? Let me know. Again, share this with some of your friends, family, any Buckeye fan out there. Well, I want to chat with you guys. So what do you think about number 5? Do we need to make a change? I mean, it's one of those situations for me where I'm really struggling because I don't want to necessarily just pull guys, but when it comes down to our defense, we cannot allow those guys. We can't allow Arkansas State to blow everybody over the top, right? Burke got torched. You're exactly right. I mean, and it wasn't just one time. I mean, last week we were giving him the grace of certain things, great catches, this and that, but this was bad. I mean, you're in the wrong position. You're not making the right moves. You're not turning your head. The fundamentals of football. What do we do with them? I'm of the belief that at this point we've seen enough. I mean, we've given him some time. We've put him in the big time situations in big games. We've given him that opportunity. I think we might want to test the waters with somebody else and see what we got there. But Burke definitely struggling, and that's going to be an Achilles heel for us. I feel with Jim Knowles, we have vastly improved on the defensive front. We saw that. Our line can get there. We don't even need a blitz to get there. Eichenberg had himself another great game too, in my opinion. I thought he was getting to the tackles. He was making tackles, wrapping up and everything. Our front 7 is awesome, but if we're going to give up things in the secondary, that's going to get us torched against the likes of Alabama and others. I think we might be fine in the Big Ten. They're built as running teams. We're not we've got the front to win a Big Ten championship. But if we as Buckeye fans are looking forward to something bigger, such as a national championship, well, you've got to look at the teams that are winning national championships and competing for those, one of which is Alabama. Well, they can't run the ball. They're going to throw it, right? They have a Heisman candidate, as good or bad, or whether we agree with that or not. We can't allow our secondary to struggle that badly. I think we'll make it through, but today showed it again. Like, we have some holes back there. I'm not going to say the season's completely lost because of it. These are college students that are trying to figure it out, but man, oh man, they're getting torched. Burke specifically was getting torched. I don't know. Do we make the change now? Do we let it ride for a little bit? I mean, offense seems to be clicking. That's important. Last year we were in that same boat. Like, our offense can, last with anybody, but our defense simply couldn't. Johnny's with us. He's driving right now. This is my concern about hiring defensive backs coaches from the NFL. Are they actually teaching kids how to play? Because in the NFL, they are past all that. It seems like they teach other things. So that's a good point. I mean, what do you guys think on that? On what Johnny's point was right there? In regards to, sorry, I got to switch up my camera a little bit here. Are they teaching them are they actually teaching them how to play? Like, there's different focuses, different priorities when it comes to different levels of the game. You know what I mean? So is that hindering our development of our young athletes, especially the DBs, the secondary? Because obviously right now, from what I've seen the last 2 weeks when I was down in Columbus last week and then just watching it today, we've got some gaping holes on the secondary. And you can only coach so much, to my understanding. Like, I mean, if we've all played the game of football, we can only coach so much. You can only tell somebody what to do. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. So my whole point is, can these players actually do what's being asked of them? I think they've improved. It showed last week, and I think a lot of that had to do with the defensive front seven, but man, there's some holes in the secondary. And it's scary to me because I'd like to say, oh, we've got a whole season to fix it. But we said that all last year. We said that all of last year that we were gonna fix it. And we're still seeing some of the same problems. And if Notre Dame had a quarterback that was capable of actually throwing a ball last week, they might get themselves a touchdown or two out of that, because there were some burnt coverages there too. I mean, they would target that. Well, as the season goes on and people get film and they understand the weaknesses, well, who are they going to target? They're going to start throwing the ball. They know that they're going to struggle up front. So they're going to start throwing the ball. So we've got to figure it out now. Yeah, Burke was awesome last year. Now seems clueless. Is this one of those situations like the Cowboys have with Diggs? I'll just say that. Dallas Cowboys and Diggs, like, looks good, does some good things, but then people realize there's some weaknesses there, right? And they start targeting it, and they see like, oh, stats look good, but there are some weaknesses, and if we have the athletes to exploit it and the quarterback that can actually exploit it, will we do that? Maybe this is a situation, maybe it's not. I don't want to be too hard on the guy, but so far, I mean, it was not good. I don't know if that was his head wasn't in the game. There's a lot of extra, external factors that go into college football, for crying out loud. But man, that was, if we were going to pick one thing, oh man, if we were going to pick one thing that was probably a low point of the game, it would have been our secondary, specifically with Burke. So Johnny and all those who are here, what's the solution at this particular point, though? What do we do? That's my question, you guys. I'm going to let you guys answer that. What do we do? We know that. Let's put this on here. One thing about Jim Knowles' his style of defense is that he does allow a lot of big plays, but he takes everything else away. So overall yardage he holds you to is low. It's a bend, don't break mentality. I actually do appreciate that about him. Again, I mean, 45-12 final score today, guys, but no touchdowns allowed. I mean, one touchdown against Notre Dame and then no touchdowns here. They're when they shrink the field, it's a bend, don't break mentality, which I actually really respect, because that really pisses off other offenses. They can't get into a rhythm because they think they're doing well, and it's a mental grind when you can't convert at the other end of the field, right? So here's the situation. So far, we're looking okay, but can we get away with that against some of the more, higher talented teams, so to speak? Will Michigan be able to exploit that and score in the red zone? Will Wisconsin score in the red zone? Will Penn State score in the red zone? Will these teams score in the red zone when we actually, get to some of the higher competition? That's why I would like to see us stop them. I know Knowles is, pretty, good at shutting it down and closing the gaps when you get into the red zone, but that can only last for so long. When you're playing the likes of Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, for example, assuming we get into the college football playoff, right? You're kind of playing with fire at that point. GOJ, if the corner play isn't good in a Knowles system, it's useless. 9 routes are open. I agree with you there. So my point is, what are we doing to fix it, though? Right? We know the problem. Everybody knows the problem, and I'm sure the coaches know the problem. I'm sure the players know the problem. So somebody give me a comment here. What are we going to do to fix it? Are we just making a simple switch? Is there something that is it just going to take more time for these guys to get acclimated to the system? Because it seems like we've got a ton of trust in our front seven. That defensive front doing its job. Linebackers are doing their job. We're actually tackling for the most part. It's just that we give up some big plays over the top, which is a little concerning. That being said, I mean, if I was going to listen, you can't have – it's very rare that in the college football scheme of things, you're going to have it clicking on all cylinders in every aspect of the game. I feel like – yeah, JJ, we have to. I don't know. I know. It's one of those situations. We got to make a change. But when we make that change, whoever's next in line needs to step up too. These are big time players, need to make big time plays and big time moments. This is kind of what you get when you go to the Ohio State University. You've got to be expected to make those plays. So we're looking at that. But I would say let's give them some grace as well, in the sense of our team's clicking pretty well compared to last year. Like we're starting to see like the click on offense. The running game looked good today. It looked good last week in the second half. Passing game, obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out there doing his thing. Making some great catches. Stroud's looking somewhat comfortable back there. He's doing his thing. I think the play calling was opening it up to get some receivers in open space, which is what is the best part of Ohio State's offense. It's like the misdirection and everything, and get the quarterback to get these receivers in open space. So even if you're not the best one-on-one receiver, you can still get in open space and make the catches that you need to. I think we should start J.K. Johnson instead of Burke. Okay. Thank you, Tyler, for giving us a solution, brother. Thank you for interacting and giving us a solution. I'm not opposed to that. I think J.K. could do his thing. I think Johnson could come in, do his thing. Whoever it is who's coming in needs to step up, right? Whoever's coming in needs to step up. That's my whole point. I mean, big-time players make big-time plays and big-time moments. This is the Ohio State University. This is a championship contending team. We need guys to make plays. It is what it is. It's not going to be perfect always. You can't play a perfect game every game. When you're the Ohio State University, guess what happens? You get everybody's best game every single week. That's the reality of the situation. So, yeah, you're not going to blow every team out. You're not going to cover every spread, but you got to get dubs and you got to execute and improve. I felt like today we did improve. I think even with the opponent that you're seeing, you're still seeing the improvement. Historically, right? Let's talk about the run pass option, like read option quarterbacks, athletic quarterbacks, like Blackman that was, playing against us today. We struggled a little bit there with that, but I felt like we did better than we have in the past. So there's a highlight, right? I'm trying to pick some of the positives here too. Secondary, a couple of holes, but that front seven, we were filling gaps. We were taking on double teams. We were getting through. That is scary because although it's Arkansas State, it's a hyped up Arkansas State with a new culture, quarterback's athletic, trying to run. And yeah, they had some times, some moments, just like Johnny said earlier. I mean, you're going to get yards sometimes scored on you in this type of a defense, but when you buckle down and it's a bend, don't break, and you shrink the field, then you can lock up. I thought we did pretty good there too. So defensively, I thought we played pretty well, all things considered, minus the fact that, I thought we improved from last week besides the secondary. That's it. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Now, I'll bring this up again. I know this is Ohio State's channel, but if you guys were catching Texas and Alabama, let me tell you something right now. Until the last 6 minutes of the game, Alabama's receivers were garbage. So if we want to talk about they're a championship contending team too, love it or hate it, and they have gaping holes in their offense too, or in their system. So they were struggling to run the ball, but their receivers kept dropping passes the entire game until the final 2 drives of the game. That's what it was. They kept dropping wide open passes, and then all of a sudden they learned how to catch, and they did well. But so even Alabama, they're struggling at the beginning of the season. It doesn't mean that you can't. Every team has their little pieces, can't be perfect, but the potential is what I'm looking for. Johnny says, how amazingly potent will the O be when JSN returns? That's my hope, right? That's my hope. I'm hoping that we can get this thing rolling, just absolutely rolling when JSN gets there. Right. I have more confidence in JSN than Fleming, right? I think that JSN has proven himself to be able to actually, get through and somewhat stay healthy, except for last week. He can do his thing. He's ready for the game. He knows how to get separation. He knows how to catch the ball. He knows how to get yards after the catch. Oh my gosh. If you can run the ball with the power backs, you got Henderson, you've got Williams, and then you keep these guys. Now you have your third option, because just like earlier, Ed was saying we need a third receiver. Well, there you go. Add Stover into the mix. You've got 4 options to catch the ball that are like consistent. Obviously, you can get some passes out to the running backs and a few here and there to everybody else. But at that point, you've got JSN, you've got Egbuka, you've got Harrison Jr. and Stover as passing options. That is absolutely dominant. There's no other team in the country that has that. So to Johnny's point, it's going to be absolutely nasty. So imagine that. Look forward to that. And then getting the secondary, fixed up. We've got to take our wins where we can get them, guys. Last year, we would have been sitting here. If we were sitting here like this last year, we would have been amazed. Like, we would have been so happy with how our defense is playing, because they have made improvements. So let's take the wins where we get there, and let's just trust that Jim Knowles and his entire staff right there on the defensive side of the ball can get the secondary in sync. Because outside of Burke having a couple struggles here and there, I think we're doing pretty well. What are your thoughts there? I think we're doing pretty well. I'm not going to sit here and just absolutely destroy them. I'm not going to pick apart every single thing a team does wrong. I honestly think we're right up there with any of the top teams in the country right now with our execution, because everybody is looking a little sloppy in some areas of the game. So I don't know. We're going to be nasty, though, with this offense as we get rolling. I think the offensive line is looking a little better. They're getting in sync. Couple of opportunities that we had today, though, like even on Henderson's, I believe it was a second touchdown, we missed a block or two. And I know that's part of the system on the back end. You're supposed to let the guy through so you can get some blocks. But I watched 2 whiff blocks. We missed, and Henderson's fast enough to get through it. But it's like those are the types of things I'm worried about when you're playing like a Power 5 major defensive end who can, run a 4.5, 4.6 40 at 300 pounds coming on the back end of the line. Maybe he gets there to Henderson before Henderson breaks through the line of scrimmage, gets to the second level of defense. But it's the second game of the year, guys. I'm actually pretty excited about it. But again, 45-12 final score. Ohio State moves on to 2-0, and we take down Arkansas State, who, for what it's worth, they played a really, really bad team to start the season. But they do have a quarterback in Blackman who has that Division I experience at Florida State. He knows what it's like to play in big-time games and big-time stadiums and all that stuff. So he wasn't scared. So he has the experience. They're not as bad as everybody was making it look like. And we held them to no touchdowns. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take the win. Not completely satisfied with it, but I'll take the win. Hey, let us know what you guys think here. Leave some comments. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. This is my name is Shane Larson, also known as the Game Time Guru on Twitter. You can follow me at the Game Time Guru. Johnny and Corey. Johnny's obviously been on the show doing his chats here with us, but he's driving right now, so hopefully he's not driving and texting. That's illegal. But Corey was working today, getting his stuff done on a Saturday because he's grinding. But together, the three of us have created the Scarlet and Great Empire, which is Ohio State football with Scarlet and Great here on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Go Bucks. I guess I'll leave it at that. If you got anything else to say, please leave a comment. We'll come back in here and check them out. But we just wanted to get a little bit of conversation going. We're going to try to do our best after every game. Sometimes we'll do pre-game chats. Sometimes we'll do post-game chats, depending on the game, what's going on. But, save this YouTube channel. Make sure you're here. Let's interact. Let's chat it out. This is your quote-unquote safe space so you guys can chat with us. We're happy to be here. I'm also known as the Boise Buckeye here in Boise, Idaho. So if you guys are ever here in Idaho in these neck of the woods, just come say what's up to me. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. If you guys have any more comments, leave them in the comment section. We'll go through and chat with you guys again. We'll be providing you guys more content as we get geared up for next week. And go Bucks.